Airport food is a scam. I'm sure you're familiar with the overpriced cheeseburgers, $10 for an egg with cheese, or having your main options just be junk fast food. Meanwhile, I'm eating gourmet meals with nice wine for free. Let's talk about airline lounges and how you can get in. No elite airline status, just smart travel hacking. I've been taking advantage of the system for a while. Here I am in 2023 at the airport lounge at Bogota, Colombia, just enjoying the free food and drinks. Here I am in New York, JFK, before my flight. But first, let's talk about why whenever you're in an airport, you should be in a lounge, not waiting at the airport terminals. When you're in a lounge, you get unlimited food and drinks, fast Wi-Fi, nice bathrooms and showers, comfortable seating, free alcohol, especially in international lounges, and sometimes there's beds, spas, and quiet rooms. And these lounges used to be for rich travelers, but not anymore. With just the right card or booking tricks, you can walk in like a boss. So think of this as a cheat code for airports. And let me be clear, these aren't just small snack bars or coffee carts. We're talking full breakfast buffets, dinner spreads, espresso machines, beer and wine, completely free. It really turns travel from a stressful, expensive chore into a calm, productive, and even luxurious experience. Let's break down how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on airport food by taking advantage of the banks. So there's 4 main ways to get lounge access. First, we got the premium credit cards. Second, if you have business class or airline status. Or third, if you buy a paid day pass for the lounge, which in most cases is not worth it. Or number 4, if you have a $0 annual fee credit card, which gives you 4 airline lounge visits per year. But the best way, the method I use every time I fly, is through credit cards that come with complimentary lounge access. Quick disclaimer, I'm never telling you to take on debt that you can't pay off. I'm just showing you how to save thousands per year through smart spending. First, we got premium credit cards, which are going to be our main strategy. So these aren't scammy travel cards or cashback nonsense. We're talking legit premium cards that unlock access to multiple global lounge networks, all for just holding the card. Here we have the Amex Platinum. It's an expensive card. You don't need this one, but I absolutely love it. It's $695 a year. You get access to the Centurion lounges, which are Amex's own luxury lounges. You also get access to the Priority Pass network, which gets you into over 1,300 lounges worldwide, and then Delta Sky Club access if you're flying Delta. So with this one card, you can eat and drink for free in airports around the world. Then at $395 a year, we got the Capital One Venture X. You get access to Capital One lounges, Priority Pass lounges. And then the Sapphire Reserve, $795 a year. This one's expensive, but you get access to Priority Pass and Priority Pass restaurants, so $28 for free. So this means if you're going to an airport that does not have a lounge available, Priority Pass can give you money to use towards a restaurant at the airport, so you still don't have to spend money on food or drinks out of your pocket. And this card was just updated a few days ago, so there's a ton of new benefits that are absolutely great with this card. But what if you don't want to pay for these cards and just want free lounge access? Well, you can check out the US Bank Altitude Connect card. So this card has a $0 annual fee and you get 4 free lounge visits per year. This is perfect for occasional travelers who might just go on 1, 2, maybe even 3 trips per year. Then the second way to get airport lounge access is to be flying business class or have airline status. So when you're flying business class, lounge access is automatically included with most international tickets. Here I am at the Qatar Business Lounge. This lounge was out of this world. It was nothing like a normal airport lounge. Here it was like a sit-down restaurant. People would come over to you, ask what you wanted to order. Here I got shrimp, I got some sushi. Scrolling down, there's a nice dessert area. And this was only available because I was flying business class at this time. I even saved the menu that they gave me at the lounge, and there's crazy things on this menu. So for lunch/dinner, they got beef tenderloin steak, spiced prawns, sushi, desserts, ice cream. And remember, this is at no extra cost when you're in the lounge. If you have the business class ticket, you get all this food completely included. The thing is, when you're not using points and just paying cash for business class, it can be very expensive. So make sure to take advantage of cards that you can rack up points with to use towards business class. So use those points to book business class flights at a discount. And in my free travel hacking playbook, I cover how to use tricks to book flights at a discount using points. So click the link in the description to grab it since it's completely free. But most people who have travel credit cards are redeeming their points completely wrong, and I'm gonna show you why. So let's go to the Amex website. Say we want to fly New York JFK to Madrid, Spain on August 15th. If we go ahead, go to the Amex travel portal and hit search, so you can see the flights it's showing me are costing about 35 to 45,000 points per trip. Now let's go over to seats.aero to find the best transfer partner deals. Let's type in the same route, JFK to Madrid, August 15th. Let's hit search. Let's see what we can get it for. Boom, look, American Airlines has it for 27,000 points. And look, if we go back to Amex, scroll down, American Airlines here is charging 45,000 points. That's a huge difference. So when you're going to book flights using your Amex points, transfer them to an airline first instead of booking them on Amex to save you money. Let's go over the third way of how to get into a lounge, which in my opinion is usually the worst way. So that's buying a day pass. So lounges usually charge 50 to 75 bucks for a single visit. But the thing is, if you're going on a trip, for example, from the US to somewhere in Europe, you could have a layover. So that means you'd be paying 50 bucks for a lounge in the US, then paying another 50 bucks for the lounge at your first layover. So that's already 100 bucks spent when you could save that money and just get a travel card that lets you get into these lounges unlimited times. Let's run through a quick hypothetical situation. Say I'm visiting airports 15 times per year. I'd usually be spending 40 bucks on my own food, $25 on my girlfriend's or friend's food, so that would be 65 bucks per trip. So 15 trips in a year times 65 bucks per trip, I'd be spending about $975 bucks per year on food. But with lounge access, it costs $0 per visit, and then you get unlimited food, drinks, yes, alcohol too, and even showers. So the total savings would be 975 bucks per year. Let's go over the best lounge networks and which card gets you into which ones. So the Centurion lounges, Amex Platinum gets you in. The Capital One lounges, Venture X gets you in. The Priority Pass lounges, any of the cards I mentioned will get you in. And then for the airline lounges, you have to be flying Delta, United, or American Airlines. And you have to be flying biz class or have elite airline status only. In airports like JFK, DFW, Miami, all have Centurion lounges and they're growing. These are super luxurious, nice lounges. Look at all this unlimited food you can get, very high quality stuff. There's chef catered food, craft cocktails, bartenders, showers, and they're quiet, but the guests do cost money. So this is great if you're traveling alone, but if you are bringing a girlfriend or your friend, they will have to pay to get in. And if you want to go ahead and apply for the Amex Platinum to get access to the perks I mentioned, click the link in the description. I'll leave a link. Then we have the Capital One lounges for if you have a Venture X card. But what's really cool and unique about these lounges is that they have a grab and go fridge. So usually when you're at a lounge, there's signs that say don't take any of the food out of the lounge. Don't bring it to the terminal with you. But in these lounges, you can go ahead and take these food and drinks and bring them to the terminal with you if you want to wait there. There's also showers, baristas, full meals, and gorgeous settings, and 2 guests are allowed free, so that's big value. And then we got Priority Pass, my favorite. Here I am in Prague, Czech Republic, enjoying it. Here JFK again. Here I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria at the Business Lounge. Here I am in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, Abu Dhabi, Germany. So you can see all over the world, there's always lounges waiting for me, super clean. So Priority Pass has luxurious lounges all over the world, not just in common travel spots. Like you saw in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, I had a lounge for me. And then also, the local cuisine is common, which is awesome. So if, for example, you're at the Prague Czech Republic lounge here, a lot of times they have Czech food, like the schnitzel, the breakfast sandwiches. It's pretty sweet. And these lounges usually aren't too busy. The Centurion lounges I've been to, for example, when I was in Dallas, were very busy. But the Priority Pass lounges, a lot of times, will only have a few people there, maybe a handful of people. It's also a very reliable lounge network because you know wherever you're traveling, there's a huge chance that there will be a lounge waiting for you there. So Priority Pass is your bread and butter if you're someone who travels internationally. In my eyes, it's a must-have. Then we have the airline lounges. Now, a lot of times, these are usually more restrictive, so you need elite airline status or biz class or first class to get into them. Then we have the airline lounges. So these are like the Delta lounges, United lounges, American Airline lounges, Qatar, and they're usually more restrictive. So you need elite status or be flying biz or first class to get into. A lot of times these lounges aren't super nice like you'd expect for being so restrictive. Yeah, the Qatar lounge was super nice, but that's Qatar. That's known to be a super luxurious country. But if you're just in America flying at a United lounge or a Delta lounge, it might not be too nice, so it might not even be worth it for you to go to that lounge when you could just go to a Priority Pass one and not have to buy the business class ticket. But these lounges can be great for infrequent travelers who are flying biz or first class. Say you only travel a few times a year, don't want to pay for a travel card. You can go ahead, buy a biz or first class ticket, to have a nice trip and get access to the lounge. Then for a quick recap, if you want the best US lounge experience, go with Amex Platinum for the Centurion lounges. If you want great US lounges with free guests, choose Venture X. If you want lounges all over the world, if you travel internationally, go ahead and get Priority Pass, which comes with any of these cards. And if you fly only a couple times a year and still want to experience luxury lounges, check out that US Bank Altitude Connect card, since it has a $0 annual fee. So I hope you're understanding that lounge access isn't expensive, it's basically free, because the Amex Platinum is $695 a year, but it includes so much value. You get $200 in airline fee credit, $240 in digital credit, $189 for the clear credit, and $100 for global entry / TSA pre. These are very powerful. These let you skip lines at airports. Clear credit lets you skip the security line. For example, when I was in Boston Airport, I remember pulling up, seeing a huge line, hundreds of people waiting for security. But since thanks to my Amex card, I have this clear pass, I went ahead, skipped the security line, went right to the front. Same with the global entry TSA pre. You can go ahead and skip that long line to wait for customs when you land back in the US after an international flight. You also get Uber credit and Saks credit. And then of course the lounge access, which provides so much value, like I said, because every time you go to the airport, you don't have to spend a dime on food or drinks. So net cost for this card, it can be close to $0. And remember, you don't have to use the Amex Platinum. The Capital One Venture X has a $395 fee, so it's much lower, and it comes with $300 travel credit and free lounge access with guests as well. So the net cost is nearly zero there too. But how can we be turning everyday spending into free travel? Well, if we have the right credit card setup, that's what's going to take us there. So for example, if we have the Amex Gold card, the BILT, and the Amex Blue Biz and the Venture X, well look, we'll put certain purchases on certain cards. Now this setup is a bit advanced, you do have to have a few cards, but it can be done much simpler. So for example, if you're spending $1,200 a month on groceries, throw on Amex Gold since it has 4x points on groceries. If you're spending $800 a month on dining, put that on the Amex Gold since you can also get the 4x points. You can use BILT to pay your rent, so you can get 1x points on your rent. Then say you have a business and you're spending money on ads or software or paying freelancers. You can go ahead and put that on the Amex Blue Biz and be getting 2x points. Then for all your other spend, you can throw it on the Venture X for 1,000 points. Or if you don't want to have the Venture X part of your setup, you could always throw that on the Amex Gold. So with this spending, you'd be getting about 13,000 points per month, which equal free flights. So 13,000 points a month is 156,000 points a year. Now let's see what we can get for 156,000 points. Let's go to seats.aero and let's type in a route. So let's see JFK to Munich, which is New York all the way to Germany. And then our departure date, August 15th, search. But what we can do is press this add ± 7 days button. And this will basically show us flights either 7 days before or 7 days after that August 15th date to see if there's a better deal. So we can turn that on and hit search. Now for transfer partners, I'm going to click American Express. So here on Aeroplan, we have JFK to Munich, 39,000 points, but look, it says there's a $140 fee. That's a solid deal, but let's keep looking to see if there's any other deals that are better. So here, Delta, 56,000 points, only a $5 fee, that's solid. Here on Virgin, it's showing 31,000 points with a $30 fee. That's the best deal I've seen so far, because remember, if we were to look at the Amex Express travel portal, we'd be paying much more probably. If you're only paying 31,000 points per flight, you can fly many times per year if you have 156,000 points. And since that's so many points, we could also afford business class. See JFK to Munich on Aeroplan, 70,000 points, just pay the extra $80 fee, when normally booking a business class flight from the US to Europe can be thousands of dollars, sometimes even 4,000 plus. And if we were just putting this spending here all on a debit card, not taking advantage of the credit system, we'd be missing out on these free flights. Want to take this a step further? Well, grab my free travel hacking playbook in the description down below. It features strategies that I didn't cover in this video, so if you're serious about flying for cheap, this is your next move. And how to get even more value from lounges. Let's go over some lounge power moves. So remember, you can bring in guests to the lounges. For example, if you're going to a Priority Pass lounge or if you have the Venture X card, you can bring in people to the lounges at no additional cost and they can get access to the free food and drinks. Then you can use the Priority Pass restaurants feature. So if you're at an airport that doesn't have a lounge available, Priority Pass may give you credit to use at one of those restaurants there. Then if you show up early for your flight, you can get a full meal in with nice drinks. So that's one reason to arrive early for an airport if that's your type of thing. And then you can also lounge hop on long layovers. So say you're flying from the US to Germany and you got like a 3-hour layover and there's a couple lounges you can choose from. You can go to one lounge, then hit another and experience both what they have to offer. One might have better local food, one might have better drinks, etc. Then use the showers on red-eye flights. Say you're flying super late, your flight leaves at like 11 or midnight, you can take a shower before the flight so you'll be recharged if you go ahead, sleep on the plane, and you'll be ready to take on the next day. And then work remotely from the lounges. This is a big one for me. If you pull up to the lounge an hour or two before your departure, you can get a ton of work done, so take advantage of that since you have Wi-Fi and quiet seats. If you learned anything in this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an upload, and I'll see you in the next one.